Welcome back, Shiva Me Timbers. It's me. And yes, we're going into another scary story collection. This time we're going to be covering 3 terrifying stories you'll regret hearing at night. Now these aren't just made-up tales or campfire scares. They're real cases that have people scratching their heads, questioning what they believe in. Some will leave you believing things are best left unknown, while others might have you checking every nook and cranny of your own home before bed. Now, I gotta warn you, these stories aren't for the faint of heart. So if shadows go making you jump, it might be wise to steer clear of this video. As always, keep your eyes peeled for the chilling twist at the end of each tale. And if you find yourself feeling braver by the minute, drop a comment below with a ghost emoji. Let's see how many daredevils we have here. Also, do us a favor and subscribe. Okay, grab your blankets and turn off those overhead lights because it's story time. And our first story tonight goes a little something like this. Once upon a time in a town much like ours, but perhaps a bit quieter and slower paced, lived a young girl named Emily. Now, she was only 14 years old, just a youngster really, but lately she'd been having these unsettling dreams. Dreams of a lady sobbing and banging on brick walls all around her. This wasn't the normal sort of dreams you get right before bedtime. These were the kind that jolt you awake with a gasp. Heart pounding like a drum solo, sweat clinging onto your skin as though it's the last drops of water in a desert oasis. For Emily, this became a nightly ritual. Every night, without fail, she'd be yanked out of her sleep by this haunting dream. At first, she thought it was just an overactive imagination, a figment of her mind, conjured up by maybe reading too many spooky stories. But as the days went by and the dreams persisted, she began to worry, so she decided to open up to someone, her therapist. After all, they're trained to listen to these sorts of things, right? But little did she know that what she was about to share would send ripples of unease through not just the therapists, but the entire town. The moment Emily described the dream to him, he knew this wasn't any ordinary case. Something about the girl's recount, the vividness in her eyes as she spoke of the crying woman trapped behind the bricks, sent shivers down his spine. He had heard similar tales in his years of practice, enough to make his gut churn with foreboding. After the session ended, the therapist couldn't shake off this nagging feeling. Emily's dream, it felt uncomfortably familiar, like a half-remembered nightmare from his own past. Unable to ignore the unsettling echo of the case in his mind, he made a decision. He would look into it, dig deeper into Emily's dream to try and find its source. Meanwhile, Emily's life continued as normal, or as normal as it could be with those terrifying dreams plaguing her every night. Then, 2 weeks passed. Emily stopped showing up for therapy sessions. Her parents grew worried when they found her window open, her bed neatly made as if she'd simply evaporated into thin air. Nothing was disturbed. Nothing was stolen. It was as if she'd vanished without a trace. Panic began to set in. Her parents raced to the therapist, hoping he had some answers, some clue to where their daughter might be. But he was no closer to figuring it out himself. As the days turned into a week, the town was gripped with fear. Emily's face was plastered on every missing person's poster, her haunting smile staring back with innocent eyes that had seen too much. Hope began to dwindle with each passing hour. The therapist, driven by guilt and determination, delved deeper into his search. He scoured through old police reports, chasing down leads, looking for anything that resembled Emily's dream. Then one day, construction workers unearthed something in the ground near an abandoned house. They called the police, and soon the news spread through the town like wildfire. The police were hesitant to connect the dots, but the therapist, his heart sinking, felt a chill crawl up his spine. Could this be the place from Emily's dreams? What they found was a basement, hidden beneath an old, dilapidated house. What happened next was like something straight out of a horror movie. Inside the basement, they found a woman's body, lifeless, her clothes torn and dusty. The sight was enough to make even the most stoic officer's knees buckle. But that wasn't all. Next to the woman, they found Emily, curled up as if she were taking a nap, except her face was pale, devoid of life. The sight was too much for the town to bear. Questions buzzed through the community like angry hornets. How could this happen? Why was Emily there? And who was the woman whose body lay beside her? As for the therapist, he stood staring at Emily's lifeless form. The pieces of the puzzle began to fit together in his mind. The dreams, the basement, the cryptic clues in Emily's story. It all connected back to this dark, dank basement. But why was Emily taken? Why were these two souls trapped in this subterranean prison? To this day, the case remains unsolved, leaving the town perpetually shrouded in a mist of unease. What drove the kidnapper to take Emily? Why did he choose this isolated basement? And most importantly, how did Emily end up there in the first place? These questions continue to swirl, a dark cloud hanging over the quiet town, a constant reminder of the evil that sometimes lurks in the shadows. But our stories don't end there. Not by a long shot. Our next tale is coming up, and it has got a twist that'll leave you questioning reality itself. Make sure you stick around because we saved the best, or should I say the scariest, for last. Let's move on to our next spine-chilling story. A man received a peculiar call one day. His phone, usually silent unless he fished out to check, lit up with a new message. The caller ID showed an unknown number, so he nearly let it go to voicemail. But something made him pick up. What followed was silence, just static on the other end, as if the line had been left open to some radio frequency. He hung up thinking it was a prank. However, the next evening, he got the same call again, this time lasting a whole 18 seconds. Still nothing but unsettling noise. He tried calling back, but the number was disconnected. Puzzled and slightly creeped out, he shrugged it off as a bizarre coincidence. But then the second call came. He heard a voice, raspy and faint, whispering his name. Confused, he put the phone away. He figured it was a bad connection. Yet that whisper, it stuck with him. His fiancée died 7 months ago in a car accident. Had he lost his mind? Was this some cruel trick? The following night, his TV turned on by itself, tuned to channel 137. All he saw was a black screen. Suddenly, a woman's voice cut through the darkness. "Don't let them in." The TV flickered. He reached to unplug it, but the voice continued, now louder. "Don't trust them. They're not who you think they are." The screen went haywire, numbers and letters flying across it. When the power went out, the voice continued as if nothing had happened. He called the cable company, but they said everything was fine on their end. Was he losing his sanity? He tried to tell his friends about it, but they just laughed. Yeah, classic haunted house story. One night, he heard a knock at his door. Startled, he opened it, but no one was there. He walked back inside, still holding the door open. The TV turned on again, showing a static image of the number 137. A chilling laugh echoed through the room, sending shivers down his spine. He slammed the door shut and backed away. What was happening? Why was he experiencing these strange occurrences? Was his deceased fiancée trying to communicate with him? Or was there something more sinister lurking behind the static and whispers of Channel 137? And our final story is one that will make you question the safety of even the most mundane places. Imagine this. You're traveling for work, tired and in need of a place to rest your head. You find a cheap Airbnb, perfect for a night's stay. It's an old house, but it has good reviews. Plus, it's the only thing available last minute. So you book it. When you arrive, it's dusty. The smell of mold hangs in the air, but it's livable. You unpack and prepare for bed. That's when you notice a door in the hallway. It's old, painted shut. You push against it, but it doesn't budge. Curiosity piqued. You check the handle, then the doorknob. Nothing. It's locked from the other side. Feeling a bit uneasy, you decide to forget about it. Chalk it up to an old house quirk. Then at 3:33 a.m., you're awoken in your bed, startled by a loud knock coming from behind that very door. You rush to the front door, half expecting to see someone standing there. But no, there's nothing. You return to your bed, heart racing, trying to calm yourself down. You tell yourself it was probably just a pipe, but then you hear it again, a knock, followed by a whisper. It says, "Please don't leave me again." You reviewed the phone recording you made earlier in the day and you hear it clearly. "Please don't leave me again." The next morning you check out, unable to sleep. You tell the host about the locked room. The host gives you a strange smile. That wall doesn't have a room behind it. The security camera footage shows you walking to the door, but as soon as you touch it, the feed glitches out. The door swings open, but you never enter. As you drive away, you replay the host's words in your mind. Did you imagine the whole thing? Was there really a room behind that wall? Or was it a figment of your sleep-deprived imagination? This unsettling experience serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest things in life are the ones we couldn't see or hear until it is too late. Alright folks, we've come to the end of our spin-chilling journey. Now I want to hear from you. Which story shook you to your core? Did you find yourself questioning every creak of your house after hearing Emily S. Taylor? Did the whispers of Channel 137 leave you glued to your seat? And what about that Airbnb story? Are you now double-checking your reservations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's engage in a little post-story chat. Remember, the scariest monsters aren't always the ones under your bed. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, waiting to jump out from behind the static on your TV screen or the closed doors in your hotel room. Until next time, keep your doors locked, your lights on, and your wits sharper. And if you're still with us, do us a favor, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share with those brave enough to tackle these terrifying tales.